Have you ever looked at a high-stakes situation and just wondered, why does one person totally crumble while someone else seems to just thrive? It's a question we all face, whether it's in a tense meeting or a full-blown crisis. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really get into the mechanics of composure, how it's built, and more importantly, how you can build it for yourself. Okay, so at the very center of this whole problem is something I bet we've all felt at some point: emotional exhaustion. The Mayo Clinic has a great definition for it. It's that feeling of being completely worn out, just drained. Because the stressful stuff, the challenging events, they just don't stop, you know? It's not about one bad day. It's what happens when the pressure is constant. And look, this stuff shows up in really tangible ways. Emotionally, you might just feel anxious or irritable all the time. Or worse, apathetic, like you just don't care anymore. Physically, it can be brutal. Constant fatigue, headaches, you can't sleep right, and of course it hits your performance. Simple tasks feel impossible, and you start pulling away from people. Just recognizing these signs in yourself is a huge first step. Which, brings us right back to the big question. If this pressure is always there, and the risk of burnout is so real, how in the world do some people, some leaders, manage to stay on top of their game? Is it just something they're born with, or is it a skill, something they've actually built? Well, it turns out it is absolutely a skill. And there's this incredibly powerful, time-tested framework for building it that comes from, of all places, the U.S. Army, a place where performing under pressure is, literally a matter of life and death. It's a simple but really profound model called Be, Know, Do. Listen to how the Army's own leadership manual puts it. What you do in that critical moment, it's not random. It's a direct result of who you are, that's your character, and what you know, your training and your intellect. The whole point is to be prepared long before that crisis ever hits. So let's break this down. B is all about your internal world, your values, your mindset, your fundamental character. Know is your external toolkit, the skills you have, the mental models you use. And do, well, that's where it all comes together. It's your ability to take the right action when everything is on the line. We're going to look at each of these. So let's start with the absolute foundation of composure, who you need to be. Your character is the bedrock everything else is built on. And for this, we can pull from some really powerful, ancient wisdom from the Stoics. Stoicism is basically a mental operating system for resilience. And at its core is one simple, game-changing idea. You have to separate what you can control from what you can't. You can't control the market or the weather or what other people think. But you can always control your own thoughts, your reactions, and your next action. Right there. That's where all your power is. And I don't think there's a more powerful example of this than these words from Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps. He said that even when they took everything from him, everything, the one thing they could never take was his freedom to choose his own attitude. That right there, that is the essence of the BE mindset. Okay, so having a strong inner character is absolutely essential, but it's not going to be enough on its own. You also have to arm yourself with the right mental tools. And that brings us to the second part of the equation, what you need to know. And hey, this isn't just some nice theory. Take a look at the Army's official leadership model. It shows right there that character attributes have to be paired with intellectual capacity. They're two sides of the exact same coin. Your mindset has to be backed up by mental skills. So one of the most vital skills here is what psychologists call cognitive reappraisal. Now, most of us, our default setting is suppression. We just try to bottle up stress, push it down. But reappraisal is totally different. It's about actively changing how you think about a situation to change how it makes you feel. And here's why this is such a big deal. Suppression just flat out doesn't work. Research from places like Harvard shows that when you bottle up your emotions, it actually hurts your cognitive function. It literally makes it harder for you to think clearly. Plus, it makes people trust you less. Reappraisal is the smarter, scientifically backed strategy. Okay, so this brings us to the payoff. How does having a strong character, the B, and a sharp intellect, the know, actually combine to create effective action? The do. Let's see how this plays out in one of the most dramatic moments in American history. The date is July 2nd, 1863. We're at the Battle of Gettysburg. A former professor named Colonel Joshua Chamberlain and his men from Maine are rushed to a small, rocky hill called Little Round Top. They're told they are the very end of the entire Union Army's line. If they get overrun, the whole army could just collapse. The pressure is unbelievable. Chamberlain's commander gives him a simple, absolutely terrifying order. Hold at all hazards. No retreat, no backup, no wiggle room. Just hold this ground no matter what. So for more than an hour, they fight off wave after wave of attacks. But then the crisis hits. Chamberlain gets a report. His men are almost completely out of ammunition. They're down to just a few bullets each. Remember the order, they can't withdraw. But if they stay put, they are going to be annihilated on the very next attack. It's an impossible situation. And this is where we see be, know, do come to life. Instead of panicking, Chamberlain's character, his be, held strong. Instead of freezing, his intellect, his no, came up with a solution that was not in any textbook. He made an absolutely stunning decision. Fix bayonets and charge. He ordered his left flank to swing down the hill like a giant door, right into the enemy's face. I mean, can you imagine? It was such a bold, unthinkable move. The attackers were exhausted, and they were completely shocked. They thought they were being hit by fresh reinforcements and being surrounded. They broke, and they ran. The 20th Maine held the line. Chamberlain's composure under fire turned certain defeat into a legendary victory. So what does a story like that mean for us right now? It means that be, know, and do aren't just three separate things on a to-do list. They actually form a powerful, reinforcing cycle. Let's call it the resilience loop. Here's how it works. You start by cultivating who you want to be, a person who focuses on what they can control. Then you equip yourself with what you need to know, those mental tools like reappraisal. This combination lets you take clear, decisive action when the pressure is on. And here's the magic part. That action you take then reinforces who you are and what you know, making you that much stronger for the next challenge. It feeds back on itself. And that really is the most important thing to take away from all this. Composure is not some fixed personality trait that you either have or you don't. It's a skill. Think of it like a muscle. It can be built day by day through the active practice of developing your character, sharpening your intellect, and taking courageous action. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question. What's the little round top in your life right now? What's that situation that feels impossible? And thinking through this framework of be, know, and do, what's your next move?